your twin sister, Karen, passed on the 10th of March. That was the day of the ECU game.
I found out that morning.
And how do you go through that day? How do you make it through that?
I was a zombie. I felt so bad for my team that day. I didn't do a good job coaching. I couldn't get her and her struggles out of my mind. But you know, I've always been able to compartmentalize things. I don't know how you get to that point. I guess you just have to give credit or thanks to God for being able to do it. But I just compartmentalize it. And then, you know, my morning was when I get by myself, you know, but I had a responsibility to everybody, you know, and I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want to be a victim. You know, it's not fair. You know, I didn't want victim because being a victim requires attention. And you're taking attention away from where it should be. You know, Marcus was a senior. Jairus was a one and done. From the day we signed him, it was one and done. You know, it's amazing how people go back and forth on stuff you know the answer to. Reggie was last year. And so I had a little talk with myself. I did. You know, I said, how are you going to handle this? Because I knew before anybody else knew. You know, I got the call when it happened. And so I had to figure out how I was going to handle it. So I was in my hotel room. Karen was around, we had a suite, so she was around in the other room. I went and told her, you know, she gave me a hug. We stood there and cried for a while because she loved Karen too. And she asked me, what are you going to do? Are you going to go home? I said, I'm thinking about that, but I don't know that I can. You know, that's why I tell people, a lot of people go to funerals out of guilt because they didn't give people their flowers while they were living, you know. So I just made the decision that morning that I knew I was going to get out. You can't keep nothing a secret anymore. But once it got out, the kids started coming up to me, and then I was saying, "Hey, I'm fine. Let's go. Let's go win this game." But during the game, you know, my compartmentalization was wandering. I wasn't totally locked in like I needed to be. But I also knew that like we didn't play good that day. Marcus did. And I think the players were wondering why I wasn't getting on them. Because, you know, everybody says, well, you know, Kelvin said, well, the players know it. They don't care. I mean, it's just the way it is. They're fine with it. It may bother somebody else, but it doesn't bother our kids because of the relationship we have. But I wasn't me that day or the next day. But, you know, when you lose and you're going through death, you're able to put some things in perspective, you know. Like, there's no doubt in my mind we'd have beat Memphis had Marcus been healthy. Marcus wasn't healthy. I didn't do a very good job of preparing him for that moment either. And then the next week was kind of weird. Northern Kentucky without Marcus, Auburn in and out. We're just it was a, I don't know how to describe that last 2 weeks, from March 10th to the Miami game. But, you know, you're going through it. Nobody else knows what you're going through. That's why I always try to be respectful of other people when I can, because I don't know what they're going through. Nobody knew what I was going through or what the team was going through. I mean, we were kind of, you know, our emotions were we were swinging back and forth like nothing we had been through all year. You know, you prepare, like right now, we're preparing. We've had a scrimmage and we've had a exhibition game. So now we're preparing for Monday. Now in between Monday, I've got to make some decisions that's going to affect some kids' lives because of playing time. And if they don't get the playing time they want, what are they going to do? They're going to transfer because they want to go somewhere where they can play. Well, I only can play 5 at a time. You got maybe 3 or 4 or 5. How many are you going to play? Or are you playing to keep kids happy? or you plan to, but in this day and age, you can't keep everybody happy. You got to do what's best for your team. So I apologize for rambling.
No,
but
that was
I'm
good.
But I'm a rambler. Anything else?
Well, I want to ask about Reggie.
Okay.
Where were you when you found out, and how did you handle that both as a coach and, grieving with your players, but also yourself?
Ooh, that was a tough day, Ryan. I'm a walker and a talker. When I take calls, I tend to walk. So I may make 3 or 4 laps around this room, 3 or 4 laps around that room, walk over to the basketball office, women's office, and back. Just keep circling. So I was out there. One of my former players at Oklahoma is from Tulsa. His name is Ebi Ara. He started on that team with Quantas and Hollis at Oklahoma. Really, really good player. Played pro ball for a long time. But he and Reggie's mother were good friends. Chandra, Reggie's mother, graduated from Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa. She was classmates with a kid that was a McDonald's All-American that got drafted in the NBA who played for me at Oklahoma. And Ebby, if you play for me, you're part of a family. Well, Ebby was part of that family, and then that's how Reggie, big part of why Reggie came here is all those guys told Reggie, you need to go play for Coach Sampson. So Reggie had been working out with Kyler. I stay in touch with all these guys all the time. I've been helping Tajay for the last 10 days, for instance, on something. But I was out there walking, and Ebby called Quantas. And there's chairs that are out there temporarily that are sitting out there against the glass by the elevator. Quantas just came down there and sat. I thought he was waiting to tell me something about recruiting. Some kid he's recruiting, needed me to talk to him. But he just sat there. And when I got off the phone, I just sat there, and he looked at me. And I looked back at him. He said, Coach, I think Reggie's dead. I had the reaction anybody would have. What do you mean? How? What are you talking about? I just got a call from Ebby. Reggie's cousin is one of Ebby's friends. So Chandra, the mom, Reggie was living with just temporarily because he was, not that week, but the following week, he was going to leave to go to Athens and play on a pro team. And so whatever happened that morning. And Kyler was trying to call him. Kyler's father, Kelvin, was trying to call him. And then because Chandra was calling Kyler, they only lived 2 blocks apart, right down the street from Kyler. And they went to his house, and that lady had gone into his room, and he was non-responsive. And then they called Ebby. Ebby called me, and then I called Chandra. And then I went into father mode. Our players didn't know it. So I told Bobby and Lauren, I said, I want you to get all the players and meet me over at the Fertitta game day locker room. And so by the time I got off the phone, because this was in off season, our kids were all over the place. By the time they got into the word was starting to get around. So when I walked down when I came up that ramp and I was walking down toward the PMU locker room on the left, J1 was inconsolable. I remember Jamal looked like a zombie. Now the new guys, they didn't know what to think. JoJo knew Reggie, but he didn't know Reggie. LJ, Damian, Sid, Jacob. They were just in shock, but not, like Reggie took those guys under his wing. He took Javier under his wing. He took J1. You know, he was there with those guys. I get on Reggie mercilessly some days. Because I always thought, about every 2 weeks, I need to go off on Reggie today. Just keep him in line. Reggie was my 2-bed check dude, which I loved about him. So when we got him in the room, I called John. I said, John, we need to get some grief counseling going on. Because Reggie meant that much to these kids now. No matter who died, but Reggie was kind of the guy that when you walked down, he protected everybody. He had their back, on and off the court. Reggie was something else that way. And Reggie always had his one foot in the good side and one foot in the mischievous side, if you know what I mean. So I had to keep my eye on that one there. But everybody loved him because of that. So, you're like a mother hen rather, taking care of her little chicks. You just realize you've got a responsibility with these kids. I got to get them through this. This will be tough. And one day I didn't like the way it was going, and I asked a grief counselor to come in to talk to the team. She was really good. She provided them good information. I still have the information on my desk here. And then we talked again. Then I said, look, we're going to do something for Reggie. We're going to put his number on our jersey. So we'll have him with us this year. And then, I was talking to Chandra about every day. It was a long time from the time he passed away to his funeral. And she kept changing it. And so Lauren was really good to her too. I said, look, Chandra, we got the A, B, and C with her. And then I called, they were having a hard time getting the plane, so I called Tillman. I said, Tillman, I need to take my team to Tulsa for Reggie's funeral. Tillman was awesome. He was awesome. He arranged for his G5. We got another little 30 passenger. And this tells you all you need to know about our program, Ryan. Galen Robinson, Nate Hinton, Quentin Grimes, Marcus Sasser flew from Detroit here just to get on our plane to go to Tulsa. Tajay Moore, Kyler Edwards. I know I'm missing somebody. Did I say Quentin? All those guys came back to get on that plane and go to Tulsa with us to say goodbye to Reggie. How about that? Not last year's team. Guys that had played for Reggie. Nate didn't play with him. Galen didn't play with him. But that's their brother. That's what this program stands for. That's what makes us unique. And Reggie will never be forgotten around here. Of course, I still see him every day. Because when I want to show him how I want something done, especially the post guys, it's usually Reggie doing it because he was so good at it.